Greetings, everyone. What's going on? This is your brother, Chief Kalinago Flying Eagle. Hope everybody's having an amazing day, man. And I'm so honored to be here on this platform to share some amazing information with you today. So, with that being said, man, I want to acknowledge all the incorruptible lords and gods and of this world, and to all my brothers and sisters, man. I hope y'all are looking forward to this information. Let's get into it, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, but go on with it.
Yo, is it? Are you kidding me?
To us, yeah. So we are coming in with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand, but I toast for the friends that take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored, then only get the road and me go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing, and you know it formed up to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with chronic fire sing, yeah, see me all diggy soon, get the higher ring like hello brother. You say I just shot ya, saw your poster, spectacular photo. Keep it burning, yes, that's the motto. If me the butter pass through your shot, you can't ball in a life, man. Me have to thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand, but I toast to the friends we take off.
So long I have picked up my pen. I wrote about places I've been. Told great stories in black and white. But my best poem yet, I did not write.
It's both. It's vice versa.
I'm saying they have my DNA because they've been spliced. Squash all of this by just Googling our dogs
Love. I wrote about
GMO.
me. I wrote about time, space, and entities. I wrote about God. I wrote about my mother. I wrote about my son, my father, and my brother. I wrote about the stars. I wrote about the moon. I wrote about the things in the sky that go boom. I wrote about death. I wrote about life. I wrote in the morning, afternoon, and at night.
You see that dove? That's the dove from my last YouTube channel, by the way. But Obatala is coming up out of the primordial waters. He's wearing all white. When you're calling on the Orishas and they show up, because they will show up, if you're divine enough to have them show up, when you see that all white, it's really something else to see.
Striving for the perfect poem, bracing myself for the perfect brainstorm. The more that I write, the more that I note. My best poem yet is yet to be wrote. It has not been wrote. Yeah.
Before the sun was here, according to the scripture, what does it say that was happening at first? All it was the face of waters on the deep, you know?
So long I have picked up my pen. I wrote about places I've been. I told great stories in black and white, but my best poem yet I did not write. I wrote about love, I wrote about me, I wrote about time, space, and entities. I wrote about God, I I wrote about mother. I wrote about my son, my father, and my brother. I wrote about the stars. I wrote about the moon. I wrote about things in the sky that go boom. I wrote about death. I wrote about life. I wrote in the morning, afternoon, and at night. I constantly search for new ideas. I talk to my elders, my friends, and my peers. I study astronomy, history, and religion. My analytical mind is constantly on a mission, struggling and striving for the perfect poem, bracing myself for the perfect brainstorm. The more that I write, the more that I note. My best poem yet is yet to be wrote. Yeah, City. No, divine. Not beautiful. Divine because of the wine, or the vine that makes the wine. And the wine was so fucking important back then. So when Jesus was at a wedding in the Bible, they ran out of wine. And so they were panicking one day. We don't have any. Oh, look at that bucket over there. And then it's like,
Don't come back over here talking about the past show told me. No, the past show didn't tell you nothing. The past show's presenting you some information. If you go invoking somebody and dumbing your ancestors, and when they see you, they get mad to see you, that's on you. Since we're talking about water, I have a question. What if water is God? What if it's God that we've always been talking about and looking for? The God above, and he's underneath us and he's all around. He's inside me. God is inside me.
Then that would mean God is both in us and all around us. That God is both above and below us. Why a woman's water breaks when we're born, and why some religions observe the ritual of baptism. But if water was God, then that would mean that God has no gender, that God takes the shape of whatever container God appears in, which would explain why we have so many different belief systems. Which begs the question, what is the spiritual significance of poisoning the water in Flint, Michigan, or the oil burning in the Gulf of Mexico, or the large islands of garbage floating in the Pacific Ocean? If God was water, would that not mean that every natural place is holy? That every thunderstorm was a church without walls? That when the rain falls, it's an act of God's death giving life, and when it evaporates again, it's the day of resurrection? And life itself was just a test of learning how to be and flow like water, how to give life to other people, and how to refresh their spirits and quench their thirst with your presence.
This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Yes, greetings. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Be water.
Peace, love, salutations to everybody in the Taz and Yasini land. We appreciate you. We got you, the God Himself, today with us. Thank you for joining us in this here Sunday, the 8th of this fake new January year that we're living in. We're gonna start off, and we have a great one for y'all today, family. So be ready. Thank you for joining us. Hope you bought your pen and paper. The chief is about to drop some science. We're gonna go through a PowerPoint I've put together. We're not gonna go through the whole thing, but just to give us an essence of a path that we could follow, and we could just derive from there forward. So we thank you for being here. But before we start, Chief, thank you for being here. Can you tell the people who you are, where they can find you, a little something about yourself? It is your first time. We want to thank you for gracing us with your presence. How you doing, brother?
Well, I'm doing absolutely, absolutely wonderful. I'm highly favored, and it's an honor to be here. It's been a journey, in terms of life is ongoing, and anytime you become stagnant, then you die. So I tell people you always have to be continuously growing, and that's what it's about, evolution. So with that being said, I've been on a path, just to all my life, from the age of 6, I realized that things in the world wasn't quite right, and I had a lot of questions, but really couldn't get the answers that I really wanted. So at a very young age, I was very rebellious. Not rebellious to the point of getting in trouble, but asking questions and being put on timeout because people would always tell me, well, that's grown folks talk, you know what I mean? But when I got older, old enough to step into my own, then I started to do a lot of traveling. And I would say from the age of 17, it was just a matter of me studying to prepare myself to where I'm at today. And I've studied so much, but what I did come to realize was it didn't matter how much I studied, how many books I read, all the information that I actually gathered, right? I had to go within myself to finally tap into, higher, ascensions, I mean, to get the answers that I want. So that's where I'm at with it in terms of my so-called spiritual journey. But I was born on a very small island, of Dominica. I am Kalinago, and I am also Anionwea, which is the original name for Cherokee, and I've been on a journey just to let the indigenous people know who they are. But today we're not really talking about that. We are going to talk about, the straw man. And my goal after this presentation is to show you how you went from a living man or a living woman, in other words, a living child, a son, a daughter, to become something that only exists on paper. And the reality that you think you have is not really you. So I'm here to put that in perspective, and hopefully, not hopefully, I know after this presentation, you will have a clearer mind as to your existence in this matrix that we are living in. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
We appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you for that intro. Is like I've said previously, I've watched your journey 3-4 years, so it's intriguing and very knowledgeable. So I am totally ecstatic to see where we take this. But sis, thank you for being here. As always, my right hand woman, she brings the feminine energy to the show, the divine feminine energy, Yasini in the house. Sis, you tell the people who you are, where they can find you at. You're muted, sis. You're muted.
I am Yasini of Yasini in the House, Yasini University, and the website and the LLC. So, absolutely, Chief, we can't say how much this means to us. And for the people who are in the chat and watching this, you can see what me and Tass, we're going to do what we said we was going to do. We're going to bring you the best information possible on social media. And right now, you see we're trying to kill it. You see, we're trying to kill it. Let's bring the best on early. Let's do this all year. Let's build with Chief Kalinago, have him come back, maybe grace his platform too. But right now, we need this information, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it for you. We're gonna get it to you, and that's what Yasini
does when she's on the Tash Yassini show. We all have our roles here, and I promise you, we're all working hard. So don't be surprised later on when we pull up the cash apps. Peace and love to you, my brother Kalinago. Peace and
Yes.
love to you, Tash, for being the hostess with the mostest.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much for that intro. We appreciate you. We love you. The show would not be complete without you, sis. It's
Thank you.
always, always, always great to have you. As always, well, I'll get to the disclaimer afterwards. But as always, I'm your brother Tasmaniac Wolf. You can find me under Tasmaniac Wolf on Facebook and the Tash Show on everything else. I also have a business page on Facebook under the Tash Show. um, the Tasmaniac Wolf is my personal profile, but you find me every place else and all social media, Twitter, Instagram, under the Taz Show. So look, be sure to look me up. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. And before we even address anything, let me address the chat real quick because you guys been faithfully coming through and keeping up with us, so we appreciate you. First in the building was here early was Nathaniel Bay. I'm stoked about this one at the Taz Show. Bro, your channel been on fire for the last 3 months. Salute. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. Universal Empress is here. What up, Taz? I'm here. We have the Empress Yasini in the house as well. Peace and love to the chat. We have Heather Bell in the building. Thank you for being here, sis. Peace, love, and light. We have Jackie in the building. I'm here. Let's go, Taz and Yasini. She, she says salute to the chief.
Yes.
John Casey in the building. I'm here as well, Taz. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy the show. We got lawful versus legal in the building. Oh snap! Oh yeah, I gave you a wrench. After so long being here, brother, I said, you know what? The brother keeps coming, and I'm saying brother because I have no idea if you are a female or a male, but yeah, you're welcome for the wrench. We appreciate what you bring to the table. So thank you so much. We got the doctor in the house, Michael Passio in the building. He says peace and peace to everyone. Mike Weston in the building as well. Salute to the chat and panel. We have Jasmine. She made it again. Peace, Taz, into the panel. Alicia Hall is in, and we got Gordon. We got Gordon in the building, all the way from France. We appreciate you, brother. Peace and bless to the goddess Yasini and Taz and you all in the chat. We got Tanya Bum in the building. Greetings to all. We have straight from Jamaica. We got Music Land in the building. HQ. Peace, love, and light to the master teachers at work. Big up to you, brother. Thank you for being here. We have the goddess, the empress, the third part of Yasini University, Salima Ellis in the chat. Thank you for being here, sis. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for this opportunity to be in the chat with us. We have Hope Lynette also in the building. She says peace to everybody. Now that we have addressed everybody, we want to thank everybody. Let me get this before we do anything. Let me get this disclaimer out the way because I don't need nobody. Well, Taz said the chief told us to, and Yasini was like, we should do it. Listen, the material and information contained on this PowerPoint is for general information purposes only. You should not rely on the material or information about to be presented as a basis for making any business, legal, or any other decisions. The TASHO and its affiliates are not legal advisors or consultants. Please make a consultation with a certified legal advisor, like a lawyer, for further advice. All content, including tips and suggestions, is entirely based on research and data available easily on the internet for everybody. So it is advised not to construe it as professional legal advice and consult a lawyer before making any financial decisions. All right. Thank you so much. Rhea says she don't see anything. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she means by that. I am. My apologies.
Yep, that's on
You're
her.
not able to
Hey,
see.
Taz,
Uh, yes, yes.
I do want to ask you to extend the greeting to Chief Kalinago and see if I know he has a presentation of his own and
Right.
something that he wants to follow.
So let's just see if he wants to step through our presentation or add something first before we get into our presentation. I'm
Right,
interested
right.
in what he wants to do.
Apologies. I wasn't aware that he had brought
Oh yeah, he got notes.
he got his own. We got little G in the building as well.
Oh
Please,
yeah.
yeah, brother. Please feel free
Yeah.
to if at any time you wanna show us something or share something, feel free to
Yeah.
share it on the screen or let us
Oh,
know and
yeah. Yeah. What I would do is because I pretty much want to stay focused and stay on point. So I actually have my own notes. So it will take me from beginning to end to accomplish, really what I want. So definitely would like to share that. Yeah.
yeah, most definitely. You could go ahead and share your screen, brother. Please feel free.
All right, cool. All right. So with that being said, brother Taz and sister Yasmin, I want to thank y'all for just, having me on here. It's definitely an honor to be here sharing that information with the world. So I'm highly honored to be here. So once again, thank you. It's good to be in the presence of greatness. Thank you.
Appreciate you for being here, brother.
All right, no doubt. Let me go ahead and
Thanks,
share
bro.
this. All righty. Window. Um, uh, okay. Hopefully it will.
Way, Ray, Wolf, appreciate you. And just as a quick comment, my last name is literally Wolf. Is I don't call myself the Tasmaniac Wolf just because I like wolves or
For
anything.
real?
Okay.
My last name is literally like Wolf. That's my
Oh,
All righty.
so I've researched it a little bit, and supposedly
Yes.
the people, my peoples were living amongst the wolves or something of that nature or whatever.
damn.
So
Don't
yeah,
tell me. Don't tell me your middle name is Maniac.
All right. Now let me know when you're able to see
Oh, shit.
the screen that I'm sharing. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring that up, blow that up some more.
Yep,
You able to see it?
coming
Well,
in.
I see a black screen right now, but I do see that you're able to share the screen.
Yeah. Well, it's actually saying that I'm sharing it right now, so it should be legible.
So maybe
Uh,
you click on a different tab then.
yeah, because
'Cause it's
all I
letting you share, but it's just blank. It's black.
yeah, it's
It's
a whole black screen that I see.
oh really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Hmm.
you might have chosen an opposite tab. I'm assuming.
Hmm. Okay, that's strange. All right, brother. Is there any way I could email that to you real quick because normally when I share stuff it's not a problem, so I don't know why it's giving me that problem right now.
Yeah. Let me drop a link for you in the. I mean, a link, an email.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, send it in the private chat, and I'll just copy and send it to you.
Right.
gmail.com. Okay,
All
I
right, beautiful.
sent it on the whatchamacallit.
Yeah. All right, so let me copy that, and I'm going to send that to you right now.
Go ahead, brother.
All right, cool. Thank you.
And let me
Yeah,
go to
sometimes this thing happen, you know what I mean? But I always tell people it can't stop anything.
right.
So,
No,
yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
ain't
did
stopping nothing
Yeah.
today.
You feel me? All right.
most.
On the PDF, and let me go ahead and get
Peace and love to
that.
my sister Salima Ellis. You know you always got the ticket to get in whenever you're ready.
Yes. Greetings, my
Yeah,
dear beloved Sister Salima. What's going on?
right.
Let me see. PDF, right there.
Mm.
I mean, I just gave it whatever spelling, but I just sent it to you. So let me know when you receive it, and then you could open it from your side.
Okay. Let me refresh. See if it. Do, 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 do.
Peace and love to Music Land Headquarters 82. Good to see you back in the house. You know I will come and hunt you down. Good to see you again, bro.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Let me put this in presentation mode because you could do that in Oh wait. I know there's a. Oh, I gotta download the thing. That's why. Okay. Well, I could just make it big for you.
Hopefully I can see that. Let me see. Bring that up. All right, cool. There we go. So yeah, we good. All right, so
Oh,
we good.
great.
Yes. All right, cool. So I'll basically take it, a paragraph at a time, and as I go, if I have to, give any explanation, I will. But for the most part, to everyone that's watching, let me give you a premise. You could, yeah, scroll back to the top. Yeah. So let me just give you a premise what we're gonna cover today. All right. My goal, like I said earlier, is to show you how you went from a natural son or daughter to become a property of the crown or the state. Either way, worldwide, it's all the same. What people have to realize is that slavery, on a whole, had nothing to do with the color of skin. Slavery has always been a business. So the whole illusion of black and white is an illusion, like I said. Slavery has always been about business, and they didn't care about your color. Every single ethnic group, they have gone through some form of slavery. All right. But the main purpose of most people say Sestake v. Sestake Vi, but it's Setake v. Act of 1666. The main purpose of that to me was the crown, the governments, the so-called rulers or the powers there be. Their goal was to play God. So you have intelligence, all right? And then you have artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is what's playing God in this world today, all right? So they had to find a way to recreate, give birth of new beings because they could not control under what we call universal laws. You cannot enslave natural beings. So they have to find a way, a loophole, so to speak, in order to make it legal, not lawful, because there's a difference between legal and lawful. So they have to find a legal way to enslave the masses, and this was done worldwide. Hence, we have the Setake Vi Act of 1666, all right? The existence of life. That transpired in London in 1666 during the Black Plague and Great Fires of London. Parliament enacted an act behind closed doors called the Setake Vi Act of 1666. Now, for those of you who don't know or have any history about the Black Plague, it happened pretty much over Europe and a time where there was a lot of diseases, pestilence. I mean, it was literally the plagues that the Bible speak of. All right. I'm not going to get into detail who was responsible for that, so I don't want to get into that right now. I want to stay focused. But because of that plague, there had to be some reconstruction in order for Europe to gain back its popularity. All right. So with that being said, Rome had fell, but Rome had to find another way to get back control. So that was one of the things that they did, creating the Sestake by Trust. All right. If you could blow that up for me, please, so I could yeah, thank you. All right. The act being debated was to subrogate the rights of men and women, meaning all men and women were declared dead, lost at sea, beyond the sea. Another term that is pretty much you guys should familiar yourself with in this day and age. When you are declared dead, another word for that is soliviter matus. Matus denotes dead, just like you have mortgage. It all deals with death. Mortgage is a debt pledge. So therefore, they have to take the man, the natural man and the natural woman that was on the land and take them to sea so that they would be considered dead. All right. So that was the whole, again, premise of that act. Okay. The state of London, London is a state, just so you know, the state of London took custody of everybody and their property into a trust. The state became the trustee, which is the husband, holding all titles to the people and property until a living man comes back to reclaim those titles. He can also claim damages. So let me just break that down a little bit. Not sure if you guys are familiar with the whole concept of a trust, but within a trust, there are three main constructs or parts of a trust. Okay, you have the grantor, the one who grants the trust, you have the trustee, and you have the beneficiary. Okay, so when the trust was set up, The people were supposed to be the actual beneficiaries of the trust, okay? And it was granted, okay, as a gift to the people. However, the government tricked the people into thinking that they are actually the ones that's the beneficiary, and that's what we are dealing with here today, all right? Another example of a trust is the Trinity, mother, father, and child, okay? The father is the grantor. He grants the seed to the woman, okay, which is the trustee, and then the child becomes the beneficiary. So anyhow you look at it in life, the Trinity is actually a trust. All right. Now, with that Sister Kivai trust, when you get to a certain age, you have the legal right, all right, to claim yourself as a living man or woman. That's one of the remedies to deal with that situation. But again, we're not going to get into that. The whole purpose of this is to show you how the world was enslaved on paper. All right, slide up, please. Thanks. All right. Now, when capital letters are used anywhere in your name, this always refer to a legal entity or fiction, a company or corporation, no exceptions, i.e., John Doe or Jane Doe. Now, if you look at your driver's license, you look at your ID, your bills, anything that come in your name, so to speak, it's always in capital letters. Okay, that alone in itself should tell you that you are a corporation, that you are a dead entity. You're not a living man or woman, and that's what it means. All right. So just by you accepting the idea that you are all capital letters, it means that you are dead in law. I'm gonna give you another example. When someone dies, so to speak, in the cemetery, they have a gravestone. What's another name for the gravestone? It's a capstone. Okay, it denotes that you are dead and your name is in all capital letters. That's the only reason why your name is in all capital letters on your ID and your bills. Okay, anything in your name.
Hold on, hold on,
But
hold on.
certificate V or Vi trust
Hold
pronounce.
on, brother. Hold on. You can't just drop a bomb like that. Nah,
Not
bro,
bad.
you just
You
blew
can
my
always
mind
interject.
right
Feel
now.
free to interject anytime. Anytime.
You just blew my mind with that one. So the capstone is it's a capstone because the name bared on it is in capital letters.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Continue, brother. My apologies.
No,
That's
it's okay. It's okay. The same thing with let me give you another example. The same thing when you graduate. After you graduate, you take off your cap and you throw it away. There's still a capstone. There's this glass ceiling that you can't pass. So all these terminologies, it deals with once again being dead in law. You know what I mean? That's all it means. All right. Yeah, there you go. Celibatum motus. All right. It means that you're civilly dead. All right. So anybody without a nationality, hence calling themselves colors, they are dead in law, period. But we won't get into that right now. Okay. So now, number one, Sedeke Vi Trust or V Trust, common term in New Zealand and Australia. Number two, in the United States, they call it the straw man, right? Common term in the United States of America or Canada. These are the legal entity, fiction created and owned by the government whom created it. It is like owning a share in the stock market. You may own a share, but it is still a share of the stock. Legally, we are considered to be fiction, a concept or idea expressed as a legal or a symbol. That legal person has no consciousness. It is a juristic person. The legal terms for those are juristic person. All right, hold on for one. Just scroll up a little bit.
oh, my apologies.
It's all right. All right, that's cool. So you have the juristic person or en legis, a name word written on a piece of paper. That's all it is. So right now, everyone in the world, unless you have declared, okay, who you are, is literally they only exist on paper and nowhere else. Okay. This traces back to 1666. London is an independent city state, just like the Vatican is an independent city state, just like Washington, D.C., which is different from Washington State. Okay. Washington, D.C. is not a country. Okay. It is literally a corporation. All right. And it's independent, it's incorporated. And the business of the United States, so to speak, is being ran from Washington, D.C. Now, mind you, people have to clearly understand that America is not the United States. Okay, the United States is a corporation within the constructs of the American continent. All right, most people, when they talk about America, all they think about is the United States. No, the United States is literally not even a country. It is not even a nation. It is a corporation. And you could do your own research, because I tell people, don't go say Chief said. I'm going to give you the information. Go look up the UCC code, Title 28, Section 20, I think it's Section 2003 and subsection 15. It clearly states that the United States is a federal corporation. And I always ask people, would you go to McDonald's and ask McDonald's to be a citizen of their corporation? So why are you accepting to be a corporation of, a citizen of a corporation? And then you get mad when they ill treat you. It's because of our lack of knowledge. Okay? So the Crown is an incorporated association. Why incorporated? It's private. The Temple Bar is in London. Every lawyer called to the bar swears allegiance to the Temple Bar. You can't get called without swearing this allegiance. So every lawyer or so-called attorney, that's why when you have a case or you go to court, they have to get somebody to what? Not present you, but represent you, because only a living man or a living woman presents themselves. However, when you go into the court, seeing that you are stepping into admiralty law, they're dealing with you from a piracy, okay, perspective. Then you have to get somebody to represent you, because you can't swim. You know what I'm saying? You're going into a whole new dimension, a whole new world. So that's why they have attorneys. Now ask yourself a question. If the attorney works for the same people that are prosecuting you, what are your chances of winning the case? You know, it's like going to the coach of the coach for Golden State and asking him how to beat Stephen Curry and thinking he's going to give you the secrets. No, of course you're going to lose. And that's something people have to understand with this public. I call pretenders and not defenders. All right. So when London burned, the subrogation of men's and women's rights occurred. The Responsibility Act Setagate Act of 1666 meant that all men and women of the UK were declared dead and lost beyond the seas. The state took everybody and everybody's property into a trust. The state takes control until a living man or a woman comes back and claims their titles by providing they are alive and claims for damages that can be made. So that is one of the ways that people could truly be compensated, or what you call find remedies for those violation of the people, the entrustees, okay, the people we entrusted with that trust. They have violated every contract law. So that's one of the ways to get remedy, okay, is by declaring that, you are a living man or woman, and then you could sue for punitive damages, okay? This is why you always need representation when involved in a legal matter, because you are dead. Another reason, when you hear they talk about minorities, they're not talking about minority because you are a minority in number. They're talking about you are a minority because of your state of mind, your mental capacity. That's why children are called minorities, because they are not fully capable of presenting themselves. All right. So to the governments, we are just children who are incapable, okay, of presenting ourselves. So we need representation or representation. Okay. The legal fiction is a construct on paper, an estate in trust. When you get a bill or summons from the court, it is always in capital letters, similar to the tombstones in the graveyards. Okay. So whenever you get a bill or you get a ticket, a summons, all right, guess what? Only the dead could be summoned. All these things are ritualistic spells. So if you go to the court and when they ask what your name is and you say, well, yes, that's me, then guess what? You just admitted that you are a dead entity. All right. But like I said, once again, I'm just giving you exactly what took place. And I'm not here to give you remedies. I'm just giving you how you got into that situation, because the remedy itself is a lot to deal with. So we're not going to deal with that today. All right. Now, capital letters signify death. They are writing to the dead legal fiction. A legal fiction was created when someone informed the government that there was a new vessel in town based upon your birth. That new informant is called your mother. I'm not sure if they still have it on the birth certificates today, but most birth certificates, when you look at where your mother name is, she is actually called the informant. All right. So in other words, your mother snitched and said, hey, I just gave birth to a slave and I'm ready to turn it over. Of course, she didn't know what she was doing, but that's basically what happened. All right. And that's a problem. And many people need to know that. And again, that's why we are doing this build, right? The birth certificate are issued to us by the dock. All right. Just as ships are given birth certificates of the dock. It's about commerce. We come from our mother's waters. Your mother has a birth canal just like a ship. The ship moves by the sea current just as we are able to move by currency. All this information relates to how the general public are still legally tied through maritime admiralty law. Through this ancient legal construct, we can see easily and be controlled and duped. Learning about your legal fiction helps you to unlock yourself. Otherwise, you are just an empty vessel floating on the sea of commerce. Parents are tricked into registering the birth of their babies. Now, just so you know, whenever you register anything, you are giving up ownership. You register your car, it doesn't belong to you anymore. You register your house, it doesn't belong to you anymore. So, what do you think? If you register your child, why do you think your child is still yours? It is no longer your child. All right. That's why ACS or CPS, whatever they call themselves, so many different letters in the alphabet, they could come take your children and you could do nothing about it because you got into a contract. You were part of a trust. All right. And you just don't know the role that you're playing in the trust. So you're being taken advantage of. So they could take your children and there's nothing that you could do about it. Even when you register your children in their schools, okay, there's a terminology that's called en loco parenti or parentis. It means that the teachers now become the parent of the children and you are only the guardian. So you see, people perish for the lack of knowledge. Okay, I just wanted to put that out there just for FYI. All right. In about 1837, the Births, the Deaths, and Marriage Act was formed in the UK, and Post Registrar General was established. All right. So death certificates, when you're dead, they make money. When you're birthed, they make money. Any type of certificate becomes a bond eventually. Okay, and that's being traded on the stock market. And of course, you hear about those things and think, well, it's conspiracy theory. No, it's real. Okay, this is absolutely real. Okay, now his job was to collect, which is the registrar. His job was to collect all the data from the churches which held the records of birth. And that's why churches were established. People think churches were established because, oh, well, they want to save you from the great big bad devil. No, it was part of the grand scheme because people were registering their children in their Bible. So the registrar made a deal with the churches. The grand registrar made a deal with the churches so that they could keep precise records of all the births so later they could implement it on the birth certificates. All right. So church and state does work together, which is supposed to be separate. But trust me, they are hand in hand. Okay. Just so you know that. Now, regis or legis, from queen or crown, all people are seen to be in custody of the crown. This allows people to function in commerce and to accept the benefits provided by the state. So whenever you accept the privileges without reserving your rights, they have every right to take it away from you. And that's just what it is because you are dealing with contractual law. You have to know your rights and you have to know how to reserve your rights as well. Okay. We have to understand who we are as men and women and provided by the state. We have to understand who we are as men and women and how we can relate in the system. The City of London is a center for markets where merchants work. Then there is mercantile law, which comes from admiralty law. Look at the symbols in your city courts that relate to admiralty law or admiralty courts. All right, let's scroll up, please. When we're done, Brother John, I will take questions. So please remind me of that question. Okay. Or I think we are pretty much done. So that was the last yeah. So again, so yeah, I just wanted to keep it simple because a lot of times people make this complicated and then people get confused. So we are pretty much done with this presentation. I hope you got the basic concept of how people became slaves. So let me just paraphrase and summarize. Okay, so men and women would have their children. Okay, that's your son, that's your daughter. Here's another little secret. Of course, it's not being enforced, right? When you use the term child or children, all these are legal definitions. However, when you use son or daughter, that's lawful. All right, I just want to point that out. So when you have your son or daughter, the government decided, hey, you know what? I want to come into this Trinity and I'm going to trick you because I'm going to play God. Yes, you have a natural child, a son or a daughter. This is what I cannot make money off of that institution. So what I would like to do is I would like to present you with a little deal, so to speak. How about if I give you some privileges? And for the privileges, all you have to do is sign this receipt because all the birth certificate is a receipt of a transaction. Now, here's something that may or may not blow your mind. Most people think that their birth date is the date that's on the birth certificate. That is not your birth date. That's your arrival date. Your birth date is actually when the sperm meets the egg during conception. That's your birth. The arrival is not your birthday. The arrival is an event that was given a name. And therefore, you are only an event when you say, my name is John Doe or John Smith Doe. Okay? So you are only an event that is not you. And that's how they trick the people into thinking that the event is actually them. I don't know my birthday. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I wasn't in the bedroom with my parents, but however, I know that my arrival date was March 23rd. That's a whole difference. So on the arrival date, the government said, hey, you know what? Like I said, let's make this deal. Sign this document, okay? And you will get these privileges. But just in case you don't know, I also have to put a seal on it. Now, what's a seal? A seal means that you could put two things together and now it becomes one. If something is broken, you could seal it with glue. So the government became the glue between the mother and the child. And that's why on every certificate, you will see the seal of whatever state it's on. It is not your birth certificate because guess what? It's not your name that's on top of the birth certificate. It is the state that issued the birth certificate. It belongs to them. Now, when your mother signs, hear what I'm saying? Your mother did not sign, okay? She autographed. They want you to think it's a signature, which you are giving away your nature. However, it's an autograph. What is the symbol for gold? The symbol for gold is AU. So whenever you autograph, it means that you just signed in gold. So now they're able to take that and transfer that into stocks and bonds and make money because your signature is gold. You, the people, are the one generating the money. That's why money could just come out of thin air because you are the creator of the money. So in essence, that's how people went from natural beings to being only slaves that exist on paper. Because another reason why some people say slavery was a choice, it was a choice, whether it was knowingly or unknowingly, you got into slavery because of your John Hancock. And in essence, that's what this is all about. So if anybody have any questions at this time, then we could take those questions.
Facts. We appreciate that that breakdown, brother. It definitely went was simplistic to the point, and it exercised the thing. So if anybody does have some questions, feel free to drop them in the thing. Now, I did see. I'm going to we are going to get into the other presentation, but for John,
Yeah.
if you check out my, first of all, I'm gonna let the chief give you his viewpoint on it. If you want somebody else's viewpoint on it, you could check out either Yassini or my channel, and where we have Yassini's nephew by the name of Sean, where he tells you ways that he's doing. He's not giving you advice on how you should do it.
Right, right.
He's giving you advice on how he is doing it to regain his sovereignty for say, you know, and he's taking back his straw man, and he's the one that gave me a lot of information in regards about how to unregister your children or whatever. And it's a very simple way. Don't
Mhm.
think that it's gonna take, you know, a whole lot of things or whatever, you know, but just gotta put a couple ads or whatever, taking claim of your children, and you know, and but to go check out the video because it's very, very, very thorough. So
Mhm.
hope that that helps you with with that question. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to
Yeah, I wanted to hear the chief's version of that question. Chief,
Yeah.
what John
Okay,
asked.
so there are different, what you call, processes, you know what I mean? But it's pretty much making a declaration. The simplest way is a declaration. For instance, when the United States was fighting for the, independency, right? What they had to do, they had to declare. So all you have to do is make a declaration. Our declaration doesn't have to be, 1,000 pages like most people make it, seem to be. All you are declaring is that you're a living man, and then you just have to know the proper places to get it registered. Now, there's some extended versions where you have to get authenticated birth certificates, take it to the registrar, like brother Wolf was saying, put a few decorations in newspapers, all those things. I mean, I did years ago, but yes, you are able to do that, especially, when your child turned 18. Your child have a right to actually do that himself or herself. Now, every 7 years, okay, you are able to also do that as well, because the contract for servantry was 7 years. So when your child is 7, you could do it 14, 21, etc. So it goes in increments of 7. That's why 7 is a very important number in numerology. You see what I'm saying? But yes, you're able to do that with a few decorations, and everybody have different processes. So again, it really depends on what you feel comfortable with and what you want to rock with. But yes, there are ways of doing that.
most definitely appreciate that, Chief. Did you want to add something, sis? Just in case.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, this is a good topic for Taz and I, and we founded it. But I'm more interested in what the chat wants to know, because they have been with us when we went over the subject. But already I've heard different stuff, which
Mm.
is value added from the chief. So Shadow Band wanted to know about undersigning, or it's a sign of nature. He wants to teach about undersigning, or how should we deregister? Do we have to do all of this even to get some rights? Because
Well, yeah, go
okay,
ahead. Go ahead.
so if we say deregister things, or start looking at the mortgage and all the bogus shit they got us doing with that, are we approaching a machine or a man when we get ready to do our complaints, or ask
Mhm.
questions, or deregister, or
Mm. Well, it depends on where you're at too, because certain states they make it difficult. Like for instance, Jersey and New York, right? When I was trying to when I made an attempt to do my declaration in New York, I was having a hard time, right? I went to Jersey to do the declaration. The registrar, or even the people at the county clerk, they did not want to register my documents. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally almost shut down the entire state of Jersey. Like the governor got involved. The police was stalking me for like 6 months because just 3 little documents. It literally shook the whole system. So just imagine if everybody knew how to do that. You feel me? So I had to go all the way to my sister lived in Illinois at that time. So I went all the way to Illinois to do my declaration. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a problem. I got my paper, my documents together. and I filed it in at the county clerk in Illinois. So I was able to do it. The beauty about it is wherever you file it, it's all good because notice to agent is notice and to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I filed, I mailed a copy to myself, and it's been about what I would say about 6, 7 years. I haven't opened it. That's my official copy. That's my notarized copy, so to speak. You feel me? And then I have copies for myself I could use to show, but I definitely had to mail one out to myself. So yes, yeah. Well, yeah. Sue jurist. Like I said, there are different, there are different, approaches. To it's not just one way to do this, right? It's a simple. You could even do a declaration in a new in a well-known newspaper. All right,
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
do that, and you could also send notice to the Secretary of State and let him know, hey, you know what, this declaration was done. So again, it's just a lot of different ways of doing that. So there's not just one way. They have different ways. As long as you know what you're doing, it could be effective.
Right. So pretty much, you are undoing the whole the
Okay.
act the act that they put in place
Yeah.
declaring you lost or dead at
Yeah.
sea. And
Mhm.
you are coming back and saying, "Hey, listen, I
Mhm.
know y'all said we lost, but I'm right here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
You basically saying, yeah, you basically saying that I'm back on the land.
right,
Yeah,
So Chief,
yeah.
let's say a 60-year-old just finding out about this stuff. She's on SSI.
Mm,
She has a driver's license. She pays bills, pays taxes, and probably votes. So she gets this information, and what would she? She don't want to just stop her checks and stop living and switch over to
mm,
this Cesta V or
mm,
this contract or this lost heritage
mm, mm,
or treasure. What is it necessary
mm.
to do anything other than find a way to go get your money?
Well, here's the thing, right? What's owed to you is owed to you. You feel me? What's owed to you? If a dead individual, and I'm saying dead individual because of the all caps letter, if a dead individual could own these assets, then there's no reason why a living man or woman can't. You feel me? What I
Mhm.
tell people is this: is because the system is set up the way it is, and just individuals doing this, then they always want to give you a hard time. But if the majority of the people actually wake up and start doing these things and putting it in place, because guess what? It is a trust, and we are the beneficiaries. So they cannot deny you of what's due to you. The only thing is they tricked us into thinking that they are the beneficiaries and we are the trustees.
So
We are
they're
not the
not.
trustees.
So they're not gonna let later on decrease some shit, change
It
some shit.
depends. Again, it depends on the state and how you go about doing things. Some states give you problems, but they are not supposed to. That's what I'm saying. Because they are not supposed to, it doesn't mean they won't. You feel me? And that's the problem because they feel like they're above the law and they could do what they want to do because they don't go by the Constitution. And I'm talking about the organic Constitution. All right, there's an organic Constitution, and they have the little stuff that they created where they could decide, well, you know what, we want to go by it or
Right.
not. You know what
So
I'm saying? So,
even the
so
fact
to
that
answer your question, so to give you an answer without beating around the bush is yes, you could do it, and they're not supposed to deny you your benefits. They're not supposed to, and I'm saying not supposed to. Does it mean they won't? I don't know.
okay, so is there a true tried method where we could like get together like a bunch of us, 1,000 or 5,000 of us, and
Mm,
and bum rush them, let them know we know about this.
mm,
We all want our monies or our trust
mm,
or all of our trust. We know about the straw man, so AKA straw man,
mm,
and just like just bum rush them. So now they've got a major visible problem.
mm.
If we go and pick at them one by one, like you
Mm.
said, we could be picked off or whatever. Nobody
Yeah.
even has to know what we was doing. But
Right.
if
Right.
we let them know that we
Mm.
putting you on notice and the world is
Mm.
gonna know what
Yeah.
you've been doing, and we
Mm.
hit you at the same time,
Mm.
um, it seemed like that's how we'll stop them. Because now that
Yeah.
we know that they'll change anything, they've got unlimited power and authority, pretty
Mm.
much to do whatever they want to do in any field, especially in politics and controlling us.
Mm.
So more so than us just knowing things,
Right.
we also gotta like be challenging things
Yeah.
or getting solutions to things.
Yep.
Like if you mentioned powwows when I first met you. You was
Mm.
on this, hey, let's have a meet and greet, let's have this
Yeah.
powwow, and when we talk,
Yeah.
are we talking about flipping shit around? Are we
Mm.
talking about letting them stay like they are, but just getting a few rights? I mean, what when we get together,
Mm.
brother to brother, are we coming with solutions?
Well, of course. I mean, everything is about, at least for me and with me, everything is about solution based. Yes, of course, I identify problems, but it doesn't make sense identifying the problem without knowing that there is a solution. What
Mm,
people have to realize is this, right? They will always give you a way out. Always remember this, okay? They will always give you a way out because it's contractual law. They
mhm,
have to give you a way out. And also, there are so called spiritual implications. Everything that we're dealing in the flesh is also contractual or contracted in the spirit. All right. So we have to know that by them playing God, they have to give you a way out. Like, typical example, the allegorical Jesus came and said that I died for your sins and all your debts are paid for. It had to materialize in the physical world, which is HR 192. You see what I'm saying? That was the resolution. I think it was HR 192 or 172, but it was the resolution where all debts are already paid and you're able to discharge your debts because why? The allegorical Jesus already paid the debt. But the thing is, they don't want people to know these things. And so when you make an attempt to discharge a debt, like take for instance your phone bill or your gas bill, the companies act like they don't know what you're talking about. And some of them don't. But they are giving you problems because you're doing it individually. So when you come as the masses and you start doing it, then they always have a way to take it to another level. Now, I'm not here to inject fear or anything. What people have to realize is this is about business and making money and power. And these people would rather destroy everything than allow the people to be free. And that's the nature that they got from who they serve. They serve a deity that dwells in killing. And if you don't do what I say, I'm going to destroy the world. That's who they serve. You feel me? So, with that being said, yes, the people on the whole have to stand up and say, you know what, man, listen, some of us may have to die, but it is what it is. But I'm not going to allow my great grandchildren to deal with that situation. And that's the type of mindset we got to have.
mm. Well, all
Yeah,
right.
it's the only way. That's it. Because they're not just going to relinquish that. It's about for them when those things were signed. You feel me? It is literally about perpetual slavery. That's what they were promoting. Perpetual slavery, meaning that, it could be handed down to your children, their children, their children, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? And to answer the sister's question, the only two states that I've had problems with because I personally try to file my declaration in there was New York and Jersey. But like I said, I didn't have a problem in Illinois. I don't know other states. You would have to check to see if it's possible to go to your county clerk to file your documents. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on where you were at.
Okay, are you a billionaire?
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Riches is not just necessarily in materialistic things. I'm excessively rich in knowledge and wealth in terms of physical wealth. You know what I mean? I've experienced so many things that sometimes I don't even want to talk to people about it because they might think you're crazy. Like I have tapped into so many different realms of ascension and gotten information. That's why I'm writing my book right now. That's literally going to change the world. And just so you know, everybody know, in the book as well, I'm gonna put those remedies in there. Okay, that deals with this trauma. And I'm putting all that stuff in there because that's gonna be my gift to the world. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So what I'm doing in the book is I'm literally showing and proving that the United States was the first continent ever born. The United States was the first born. They don't want you to know that, but I have archaeological proof of that. I'm going to show that. I'm going to show that it was the Americas that gave the world civilization and it wasn't the other way around. I'm going to break all that down. I'm also going to show and prove that all the nobility, I'm talking about from the kings and queens and their courts between the 1300s to about the late 1800s, they were all people of color. I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove that Abraham Lincoln was a man of color. I'm going to prove that George Washington was a man of color. I'm going to prove all of that. Then, once I do that, I'm going to break down the Bible and show and prove who is God and who's the devil. I'm breaking all that down. And I'm showing everybody in the book. I'm not just telling them the problem, but I'm giving them the solutions and the remedy. And that's going to be my gift to the world. I'm actually on about 270 pages right now.
Damn. How do you even embody all of that under a title?
I know, and that's why I had to summarize a lot of the information I think that I could summarize, and some of it I have.
Oh shit.
With that, so with that being said, it's a lot of work, and it's over 20 years of just information. But here's the thing, just to kind of piggyback on what I said earlier, a lot of the information I really had it came to me, but I just did not have the physical or tangible evidence to research. So I had to spend a lot of time, not just in meditation, but I mean, trust me, it's been a journey. Being celibate for 3.5 years, not eating meat, abstinence from sex. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal, I don't do none of those things. So I had to literally, not that I was a bad person anyway, but I had to literally put myself in a state of what I call pureness to be able to be granted the permission to tap into certain universal entities. So I had to come in a certain state and I had to be pure to a certain extent. So, and then ancestors came to me. I mean, I felt their touch, literally touch me, talk to me, and it was just so real to the point I would get up sweating, but then they would tell me, don't be scared, and they would give me information, I mean? So I reached out to Chief Hiawatha because a sister in Jamaica, he came to her in a vision. She never met him, didn't know who he was, and he gave her a message. And she was supposed to give me the message. She gave it to me, and I spent 2 weeks trying to reach out to Chief Hiawatha's energy. And then he gave me some information and showed me a lot of stuff that happened, with the Iroquois Confederacy. So, like I said, the book is gonna be on fire, man.
Yeah, I bet you.
Yeah.
Wow. And so he put that corn up there. I hear a lot of stuff like from I don't know if you know Yaki the Awakened, but and him and Dr. Sabi all say no corn, but we know corn is indigenous to these Americas. Why nobody else wants to fuck with corn, and it's in our blood practically.
Right. I mean, I eat corn, so I don't know. It's not doing me any harm, so I don't know.
They said it don't digest. It's not good for the body, and yet that's our product.
Yeah.
Corn is in my
I
brain.
personally don't have a problem with it. The only thing I just don't do, I don't eat meat. But apart from that, I mean, once in a while, I'll make a corn soup, and trust me, I enjoy it. I lick the bowl and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
Okay. I'm just wondering, like, why attack the corn? They know that's us. They know that's us.
We good with that. But I just want to, add, man, all ancestors are real. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gave us so many entities to replace our link to our ancestral and what I call umbilical cord. You know what I'm saying? So even when babies are born, they cut the umbilical cord too soon. They have to give the baby time enough to breathe, to get used to this third dimensional realm, but they just click, you know what I mean? And then when people breathe, they breathe from their throats. So that's why a lot of people's heart chakras are closed, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not breathing properly, because all spirit means is breath. The whole mystic about spirituality, all that stuff is an illusion. All spirit means is breath. That's it, period. So spirituality is actually the art of breathing properly. That's what spirituality is. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, it's a lot of things that we have to retrain ourselves, and you cannot tap into certain frequencies or energies, and you live in a type of foul life. They will not even grant you permission. You know what I'm saying? So you have to purify yourself, and in order to step in, in the presence of greatness to get certain information. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to add that. People just want to live their lives and do things, all type of violent, foul things, and expect and call themselves spiritual. Now you can't do that, man. You know, you gotta be living a good life, a righteous life. Is the only way you're gonna gain access to certain information. You know, yeah.
Is some of that is, can we be helped out by the sun? Like
Well, you said
can
what
the
now?
sun burn off toxins and let
Yeah.
your mind start getting right and sending you on a spiritual path, or how
Well,
to get right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Another thing I'm breaking down in the book is, and I heard that in you guys' intro, and to a certain extent, you are correct. The essence of water is a God, but the essence of water is not the ultimate God. Okay, because you have solar beings and you have lunar beings. You have lunar gods, and the lunar gods are the ones that created mankind. But the solar beings is the highest, they are the higher deities. Okay, the solar beings, not the lunar beings. And all lunar beings are water-based beings. So yes, the water entity or energy is a god, but it's a lunar god. But the moon gets its light from the sun. So the sun is the highest manifested deity. And that's why purification comes from, yes, you could purify yourself with water, but the true purification comes from fire, what they call hell. That's how you get purified.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, Taz, I didn't mean Taz, you might be mute, but I didn't mean to shut you down, and we can
No.
go further, but I got the chief on here. I'm gonna steal
Yeah,
all the gems that I can.
I was enjoying the build with the chief regardless, but that's a lot of gems. It's a whole. I would tell you, I'm gonna need a date of when you're dropping the book, because I mean I'm interested. So
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely
Yeah, like I said, I'm on page 273 right now, and I just finished the part where I'm talking about the real Jews are, and who these people that call themselves Jews are today. I'm giving the entire background and how they became so powerful. So I'm breaking that down right now. And then next, I'm going to go into the Bible and go into the beginning, because I didn't want to start with the Bible, because I didn't want to scare people, because too many people, over 95% of the world, is the foundation is based on what we call religion. And that's cool. I'm not here to tell you, to tell you who to serve. I'm just here to give you the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to start with the Bible. So I started with the history of the Americas, because why? America, it all started with America, and it's going to end with America. You see what I'm saying? They make us think that America was the new world. No, America is the oldest world. And that's why in prophecy, it said that the first will become the last and the last will become the first. So that's why the American Aborigines, we had to become the last of the last. I mean, literally, the last of the last for us to reascend back into being first again. So 1492 in the book, I'm calling that a spiritual portal, a spiritual and a physical portal, because that's what it was. 1492 was a portal to bring certain entities into the Americas, because before 1492, we didn't know of these gods. We did not serve or acknowledge the gods that were in Europe and Africa and Asia. Those were not our gods. However, that was supposed to happen for those entities to come into the America to enslave, the American Aborigines. Hence, once that happened, then that would conquer the entire world. You know what I'm saying? So America is literally the key to unlocking all of this. But first, we have to know the role that America played and have to play in terms of the original people of the land. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also breaking down who these so-called natives are today, exactly where they came from and when they came into the Americas and why they have to be put in the position that they're in, because everything have to have a reason. It wasn't just a physical reason, it was spiritual. Why did the Jewish people of today, why they had to become in power? So all that stuff, I'm breaking that down and giving people the real answers why this thing happened and when it's supposed to end.
And is it led by the patriarch? I mean matriarch?
No, because guess what? When we deal with the true aspect of life, life has balance. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about, there are times when the matriarch, ran things. There were times when the patriarch ran things. The only thing is within the past few centuries, the patriarch just took over and everything just went crazy without the balance. That's why in certain books, the matriarch was taken out of the equation. Even with the so-called, Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, it's like you have three men making babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that being said, they took the woman out of the equation. So we have to bring the sisters back into the equation, because even in the Americas, we had what's called a matriarchal system. What does that mean? Most people think that matriarchal means that the woman was in charge. That's not what it means. The men were always in charge, but the women make the decision. I know it might sound contradicting, but it's not, because we had our women in such pedestal that a woman would be the one to say, cut his throat, and the man would actually go cut your throat. That was the decision for the woman to make. And then being a matriarch means that everything hereditary, it was passed down through the woman because of land, because that's where the term came from, mother's baby, father's maybe, because you always knew who the baby was of the mother. You see what I'm saying? But we had in the grand councils, of course, you had the woman, which is the matriarch, okay, that was literally given, and she was granted that the last word, so to speak. It was 13, okay, six, and then the grand matriarch. You see what I'm saying? She was the one to say, well, you know what? I'm going to give the final word, because that's the honor that we give to our women, and I still honor them today. You know what I'm saying? There seems to be a so-called spiritual war that's going on between the sexes. I see it all over the internet. Men attacking women, women attacking men, and all that. But guess what? It's okay. It is just a spiritual purge that's happening right now. You see what I'm saying? Because people are trying to find themselves. They don't know what's happening internally, but it is supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? So when you truly get what life is about, you don't put too much emotions into it. You feel me? Because it is just supposed to happen. All you do is just enjoy the ride. There's no such thing as good or bad. There's no such thing as, it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. All there is life, and life has no gender. You feel me? And that's what it is.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. You wanted to add something else, sis?
Man, he's doing such a great job. I should just pull out some questions for him, but I don't know. I don't want to have the show. Okay, so let me ask you this, bro. You see what the conscious community is trying to do. You see all of this information and people teaching it, however they want. What should we be looking for in the conscious community that we should not follow? Or I don't want to say who. I mean, the type of information we've got. Astrologers who knows everything about the Anunnaki, and there's all of these tales, and there's just so much information. Like, what can we hold on to and make sure that we're good?
This is what I'm gonna say, sis. Without stepping on anybody's toes, right? There's a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of truth in everything. Okay, within every lie, there's a little bit of truth. That's why in the word you have believe, and in believe you have lie. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, in everything there's a little truth. You just have to choose what resonates with your soul, not your spirit. Because people are getting it confused with soul and spirit. You feel me? A spirit is a shadow being. A soul is the ultimate being. That's why everybody don't have what's called an ascended soul. Okay, people have to know the difference. So with that being said, there's a little bit of truth in everything. Even with the Anunnaki, it's all mythological. But the reason why those stories have to be told in the form of myth is because the true essence of what we call the creator, it cannot be simplified in words. It cannot be put in a book. It is something that the conscious mind is trying to comprehend, but they cannot comprehend. So when people talk about God, I'm like, listen, trust me, you don't know who God is or what God is. Okay, you are going based on the perception of what people told you. So to answer your question, I would say is don't swallow everything with a grain of salt. Before you digest the information, make sure you process it. Do some external research, but even more so, the most important thing is to do some in search, because that's where the key lies. All the information and the truth that we need is within us. Now, people have to be very mindful when they listen to that voice in them. A lot of times we say, well, man, I know something told me. Well, it depends. What type of individual are you? Are you living righteously? If you're not living righteously, then that little voice in you is not of the incorruptible God. And I'm very particular with my words, because within the power, within the power of the tongue, there's life and death. So I am very, very particular about the way that I speak. So when I speak of the incorruptible gods, it speaks for itself. Okay, so when you listen to that little voice in you, you have to be mindful if it's coming from a corrupt deity or an incorruptible deity, and you have to know the difference in the voice that you listen to.
So do we all have a little bit of cognitive dissonance? Just some of us got more information, so you can't tell how bad
Yeah,
it is. But
yeah, yeah.
we, we
We
really
all
can't
do.
we really can't bash Christians all that hard
Yeah,
for
yeah.
not wanting to take part in all of this new information, right?
Yeah, and I don't attack people again. I don't attack people's religion. That's why when I teach or when I give information, I try to keep it as neutral as possible. You know what I'm saying? But it still comes down to, well, regardless of what, tell me how much of the truth that you want. Because a lot of people say, well, you know what, man, I want the truth, but a lot of people are not ready for it. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So the whole concept of Christianity, people don't get it, because they only become Christians on Sundays, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they live what type of life that they want. And the truth of the matter is, all those religions, regardless whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they all were promoted by the Catholic Church. And all religion really is, to be quite frank, is in its true essence, a religion is an army. Okay, because religion is an army.
Yes.
Therefore, religion is
Right.
the bringing back of that army. That's all it is. That's why they had to go over the world and kill people with the sword to accept their religion. It's just an army. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the allegorical Jesus said, listen, man, you got to go within. That's where the true religion, the true essence of who God is actually within you. And what's within you is not the flesh. You see what I'm saying? So the truth of the matter is, even when you go back to the mythological Anunnaki or wherever you go, they were always in awe of man, because man is the real thing. You are the real thing. I am the real thing. The only difference is at what level are you vibrating? What energies are you pulling in? There's an old proverb in in I'll talk about the word God in a second. There's an old proverb in our culture that speaks about the two wolves. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a synopsis of that. A grandfather and his son, they were actually going hiking, and when they got to a certain peak, in the mountains, the grandfather, he told his son, listen, let me tell you a story. Within each and every one of us, there's two wolves. There's a good wolf and a bad wolf, and the problem is they're always fighting each other. They're always at odds with each other, and one of them got to win. And then the grandson asked, well, grandfather, which one is going to win? And the answer was really simple. He said, son is the one you feed the most. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, God, and I'm using the word God and the devil very lightly so people would know what I'm talking about. Okay, because I don't subscribe to this stuff, right? But anyway, it's like a coin. You have head and tail, but it's the same coin. but yet still they never meet. They are parallel. Okay, the tail never meet the head, and the head never meet the tail, but they're actually in the same coin. So God and the devil, the concept of God and the devil is the same thing. And your body is just a host, an avatar, okay, that will manifest the one that you focus on the most. So if you focus on negativity, you will bring out the devil. If you focus on positivity and leave it right, you will bring out what's called God. Okay. And the word God, since somebody brought it up, the word God, all God means, God is an action word. And all God means is to evoke, to pour a libation. God doesn't mean an entity in the sky, with a beard and judging people. No, that doesn't exist. The word God, all it means is to evoke, to pour libation. And that's what our ancestors did. So when the colonizers went around the world and they realized that's what people are doing to evoke their ancestors, they came up with a word that would embody that action, which they came up with God. And that's what God means, to evoke, to pour libation. It's an action word.
That's deep.
Yeah, this all good stuff, man. This
Yeah.
is so okay. So now you know about the occult or the Freemasonry or Jesuits, Vatican, all of these secret societies that supposedly got their hands on us, literally controlling us
Yeah.
through the Bible. And all this time we've been thinking that it's slavery, thinking of ourselves as slaves and having just the like no other people is like us, no other people is treated like us. Even the people in Africa, nobody's flying to get over there, right? People are coming here to the Americas. How special are we? Are we more special than other people?
Well, here's the thing. It's not a matter of, again, I'm breaking all that down in the book. So I'm going to give you enough not to just spill everything in the book, but, I'll give you enough to answer your question and let it make sense. It's not a matter of being special. You see what I'm saying? Like, people and first off, let me just say this, right? The Bible is a real powerful book. The Bible has some great gems in it, but at the same time, the Bible is a dangerous book if you don't know what it means. Trust me, I love reading the Bible because I get it. It's only when you don't get it, it becomes dangerous. You feel me? So if you think the Bible is just about a sky daddy and his nemesis, fighting for souls, then you got problems. That's not what it's about, because all those entities, they're just created entities once again to articulate what man cannot put in words. Because once again, you cannot put the true essence of the creator into words, especially the English language. It wasn't made for that. Okay, so they have to put those things in myth. That's why the allegorical Jesus spoke in parables. You feel, and I'm saying allegorical because the man wasn't a real man. I don't care if you call him Yeshua, Juju, I don't care what you call him. It's all a myth. You see what I'm saying? The truth of the matter is, you are Jesus. I am Jesus. Even in the Bible, it says that you could go on and do greater things than Jesus. Now, let me ask you a question. How can you serve a man that I could be greater than? And it's in the Bible. I can show it to you right now. So the point I'm making is, you have to know thyself. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, when you talk about all these so-called powers there be, they're only so-called powers because we give them the power, because man does not know himself. It's only when you know yourself, you will become powerful. You feel me? And when you know yourself, it's all about honor. Most people think, well, I want to declare, who I am. I want to do my declaration so I can start wilding out. No, it is to remain in honor. And most people don't realize the more power you have, the more responsibility that you have. You feel me? So are we more special? It ain't got nothing to do with being special. We were just, life in itself could have originated on any other continent, but it just so happened to be in the north, which is the gate to everything.
Okay, Chief. I'm talking about special, like biologically and
Yes, go ahead,
literally.
sis.
Excuse me? You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Chief, I'm talking about special biologically and literally
Mm.
biologically.
Okay.
I'm talking about the components inside of us,
Hmm.
the way things work inside of us,
Hmm.
this melanin or
Hmm.
uromelanin that's in our
Hmm.
brains and that does phenomenal ass shit. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the fact that our mitochondrial DNA
Hmm.
extends from like prokaryote cells
Hmm.
or prokaryotic cells
Hmm.
versus the new cells and the new complex cells.
Yeah.
I'm saying we come from a place that was simple and natural,
Hmm.
and other races don't. I mean, the
Yeah.
hybrid species
Well,
don't.
yes, but here's the thing. You have to realize that again, it's not about being more special or being less special. All right. And that's what we have to understand. When you truly get the purpose of life, the reason, yes, from that perspective, yes, we have that edge. That's what I'm going to call it, an edge. And the reason why I'm saying an edge because people have to realize what life is truly about. Life is about coming from your highest self, descending into your lowest self, and ascending back into your highest self. That is the journey, literally, of the Bible and of life. So let's put it this way: all the races that descended, okay, from from us, the so-called original people, that have to be arisen, because all they are is just shadows of who we are. Yes, we have certain advantages, but they are our shadow. What do I mean by that? They are shadow beings. You feel me? And it was supposed to happen that way, meaning that we are supposed to ascend from our highest self into our lowest self. So the Caucasian man, and there are over 50 different ethnic groups of Caucasian people. Not everybody that's so-called white is Caucasian, but the point I'm making is the last of the breaded of the so-called Caucasian people is the people that call themselves Jews right now. And that was the natural spiritual, and I'm using that word spiritual very lightly. That was the order, meaning that we had to come from our highest self to experience our lowest self, which is what's called the devil. I hope that makes sense. You feel me? We had to start from our
Yeah,
highest
yeah.
self, yes. So, in order for us to descend into our lowest self, it had to manifest in the flesh. And the manifestation of that is who we call the so-called Jewish people today in our lowest form. And they have to be given the world. But now their time is up. So now it's time for the low self to step back into its highest self. So what you're going to see is you're going to start hearing a lot about anti-Semitism. You're going to see a lot of people start rising up talking about the Jews. It's not because they're talking about the Jews, they are critiquing the lowest self that's manifested in the form of the Jews.
Damn. You preaching, brother. You preaching.
You see what I'm saying? So again,
Absolutely.
I have to get that clarification. You feel me? And a lot of times, I mean, I would feel attacks because it was coming, and I would feel something, but I have to take certain breaks. Whenever I was told to do certain things, I do it. And then as soon as I do it, the information came. So it had to be broken down to me so I'm able to articulate it in the book so that it could make sense. You see what I'm saying? So the truth of the matter is life is ongoing. Okay. And the original people, when I say the original people, I'm talking about the Americans. The original American is where it all started from. So when life descended on earth from the North Gate, it was actually in the Americas. So when the American land was already up, okay, Africa, Asia, Europe, they were still underwater. America was the first born. You feel me? And then
Yeah.
everything descended into the world. So then you had Asians, Africans, and then later Europeans. And I'm talking about original people of so-called color. The pale man wasn't even in existence just yet. We are talking about original people on earth. Okay. But it was only 6,000 years, about 6,000 years, or between 6 to 10,000 years, that last race of breeding out people, which is the Jewish race, they were created. Okay, and then they were supposed to be given the world. Hence, Satan is taking the world for 7,000 years. But that time is up
So I'm
for the original man, or the higher self, so to speak, for the higher self to start ascending. And that's why you see a lot of people waking up, because the higher self is ready to step out of its lower self. So all they are is just shadows of our higher self in our lowest form. And the only way to win, not the only way, the best way to win is to rise back into our higher self. We don't have to pick up a gun. We don't have to pick up a knife. We don't have to stab nobody. We ain't got to do none of that. All we have to do is ascend into a higher self, and they lose power. It's really that simple. That's it.
it's obvious our chat got a lot of questions, Taz. But I was going to ask if you could take this time, um, Chief Calico, do you have a cash app?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I would
Okay.
be appreciated. The cash up is just $Kalinago.
Okay. Um, Taz, if you like Gordon Creechins wants to know who gave them the whole world, and then we're talking about the Tamahu. You know, that's the Yakub story, or the of the created ones. We believe we the created ones. If we listen to the Anunnaki, I mean, there's stories that here's the deal.
Yeah.
When I got out of Christianity, it's because they was trying to get me to believe some shit that wasn't true, like talking snakes and what have you, right? I'm understanding that these are parables and allegories and all, but it seemed like they just didn't want to teach the truth to our people, which is that we're the gods, right? And the power that we have in getting us back into ascension mode. So now, the more I get into consciousness or waking up, it seems like the story gets weirder and deeper, and now we've got extraterrestrial and
Well, here's the thing, sis, and like I tell people, all right, we don't have to make it complicated. Whether it's the Anunnaki, whether it's Yakub, the bottom line is this, right? It is all about light and dark.
Yes.
That's all it is. And everything ascended or descended from light and dark. Now, what people are confusing with, people are confusing white with light and dark with black. No, darkness is not black. All darkness means is the lack of light. That's all darkness means. But however, things appear black because it absorbs certain lights on the visible light spectrum. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, when you're talking about it's not that they're not teaching us the truth. It's just that because man was illiterate, they just couldn't understand the concept. And not just we are gods. Everybody's a god, sis. It's not just us. You see what I'm saying? We have to get away from that mentality, because a lot of people want to claim God, but they don't want to claim the devil. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're a god and God supposedly created everything, so who the hell created the devil? So obviously the devil came from you. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be balanced in the information that we give, and not just claim God, but claim the devil as well, because the devil is our lower self. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, let us not look at it like a brother asked, are we supposed to give it up to the white people? Let's stop thinking of colors. They are not white. They are just our lower self.
Right.
Our lower self had to take over. If you look at the chakras and you look at the characteristics of the lowest chakra, it talks about greed, it talks about security, it talks about all those different things. That's why it had to deal with the materialistic world. So our higher self descended, and the more it descended, it became more materialistic. But the only way for that to manifest, it was supposed to be in the opposite of us. Hence, you have so-called white people. You see what I'm saying? But you have different ethnic groups of white people. And the lowest of them was the so-called Jews of today.
Okay.
That's why they were banished from at least 20 different countries, because people knew of their nature. White and black was about nature, the nature of people, not about color of their skin. So yes, because we have to descend in our lower selves, we wanted to experience the material world to its extreme. We manifested these people to control us, the higher self. But now people are stepping back into their higher self, where materialistic things are not the most prominent things in their lives. You will see a lot of these Jews and this cabal and all these so-called elites. You will see them start losing their power. But the lower self is not going to just give it up like that. The lower self is going to put up a fight. You see what I'm saying? But it is written that the higher self will rule again. All right. And the new race that's gonna it started in the Americas, is gonna end, so to speak, in the Americas. The new race will have nothing to do with color. It will be about energy. That is the new race. It ain't got nothing to do with color. It ain't got nothing to do with the so-called black man and the white. It ain't got nothing. That's an illusion. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's about light and dark, good versus bad. And the new race would be goodness, which is we are stepping into the age of Capricorn, when the so-called new heaven will be created once we leave the Aquarian age.
Shit, that's too long.
Well, it's up to us. That's why I said is that we are in control of the higher self. So the longer the higher self stay in its lower manifestations, the more the lower self will be able to rule. So it's really about us. It's up to us, really.
Right.
Which is the higher self.
Well, and it's like you said, good and bad. So we're really talking about duality, right?
Yeah, well, in this realm, and that duality only commingles in this physical dimension. You see what I'm saying? In its true essence, there's no consciousness in terms of duality. There's no such thing as good or bad or male or female. That doesn't exist. It only exists in the manifestation of the all. But within the all, everything is within the all. You see what I'm saying? There's no differentiation. The differentiation happened because of generation. You see what I'm saying? Once we started stepping into generation, then we started descending. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's why in the allegorical Bible, the myth, in the mythology, you will see that there were beings before Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were not the first beings on earth. You see, in the first chapter of Genesis, the first so-called, which was another term they used for Adam Kadmon, but it doesn't matter what you call it. Okay, but the point is, in the first chapter, those individuals, okay, were created and they were hydrogenous beings. Okay, they were hydrogenous beings. Even Adam wasn't a man. Adam was a race. Eve wasn't a woman. Eve was a race. Adam was androgynous. It wasn't until the separation that was done in him that the sex is separated, meaning that you had a penis and a vagina. But Adam didn't have a penis or a vagina. You see what I'm saying? So people have to know these things. And of course, the Bible cannot explain it that way because people are not going to believe those things. So they have to give you parables.
So the times of the Bible, say 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and the times of now, it seemed like time is doing something, like going real fast, like really, really fast. Like we were just on the horse, horse and buggy, and now we're all up in the skies flying and doing even more than that.
Well, the truth is, we had all that stuff before. You know what I mean? The Sumerians, again, they had spaceships. The Egyptians had spaceships. You know what I mean? There's nothing new under the sun. It's just that all that knowledge, it had to be taken away. Okay, it had to be taken away and put in possession of the lower self, which is AKA the so-called white races. We had to hand the torch over, just like the crown. You had the kings and queens in Europe, so-called people of color, but they had to hand it over to the Saxon, now the Windsor. Those are so-called Caucasian people. You see what I'm saying? It had to be handed over.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? That is just what had to happen. It doesn't matter how we slice it or dice it. The truth of the matter is, if man was truly in tune with himself, we wouldn't have all these killings and all these wars. We would know that we came here to experience our lower selves, or we would tell our lower self is, listen, man, you know what? You got it for 7,000 years. Do you enjoy it? When it's time, let it go. That would have been the simple conversation, and it would have been all done. But man is just a stiff-necked individual being. And then because we lost control of our lower selves, then that's why the lowest self happened to rampage all over the world. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to all the religion, all those things is, trust me, they're just illusions, man. You know, it doesn't mean that it didn't exist. You know, the 2,000 years ago, trust me, it was millions of years ago, people been on this earth. You know, this is nothing new.
Right.
You know, they just condensed everything that's in the Bible. It was taken from different eras. You know what I'm saying? And I could go to Sumeria and pull out the exact story of Noah.
Right. Yeah. And so don't we really have to know all of this stuff?
Yeah, and that's why I'm breaking all that down in the book. I'm showing where it all came from. So people will truly know the further back you go, everything is just an allegory to make sense of the cosmos. The first Bible was the cosmos, but only certain group of people had that knowledge. So they had to put it and simplify it to the common man. But the common man still couldn't get it. So he needed idols to worship. And that's when you started having all these gods of different idols. But once again, may I reiterate, we have to know that the highest deity are solar deities. But however, the lunar deity had to be created in order to create mankind. And people don't know there's a difference between man and mankind. You know, I'm not a human. I'm not mankind. I'm man because I'm from the original stock. However, mankind was created. So mankind are the Asians and the Caucasians and the East Indians. That's mankind. They're all Asiatics. That's where they were created.
Right.
Yes.
And what Gordon is saying is what I've tried to.
Well, Gordon, yes, Gordon, we put it this way, we give our lower selves power over our higher selves. That is the best way I could break it down to you, because they are just our lower selves. That's all it is. It's just a shadow of who we are. That's it.
And it's the natural order of things.
That's how we created it, because why? We wanted to experience our lowest self.
Wow. Yeah, this is bigger than history, straw man, biblical. It's like a whole, really a shaking.
Yeah, and everything is in the book. Everything is in the book. I'm breaking it down so a baby could read this thing. I'm literally giving the world. That's why I call it, the title of the book is something about, let your eye be single, and I call it a revelation to a Genesis to Revelation, because I'm breaking all that down.
Damn. And how do we break down this matrix that teaches us duality? One pole, two ends, two extremities, this is how we have to think in terms of lightness and darkness. And then you said that there's some places where there is no duality yet. We can't have absolute truth.
Well, there's absolute truth, okay? But the duality must exist in this world, because if it didn't exist, let me ask you a question, right? If you only had one arm in the middle of your chest, how would you know which one is left and which one is right?
You wouldn't.
Exactly. So therefore, duality must exist in this realm. It gives perceptions. Now, your two eyes is what creates the illusion. That's why the allegorical Bible said, let your eye be single. It's only when your eye becomes single. So I have to go to that journey in order for my eye to become single, for that information to be given to me. That's why I don't talk a lot about these things, because people might think I'm crazy. You see what I'm saying? But crazy people change the world. And that's why the title of the book is that. Because I literally had to allow my eye to become single. I had to blind myself, so to speak, with this physical eye, so I'm able to see with what's called the third eye. Now, the more man descended, okay, the more man descended, there was a time where we only communicated telepathically. Have you ever gotten on the phone and called somebody and they say, and man, I was just thinking about you? That is called telepathy. So we were able to communicate telepathically. I mean, I can literally look at you and we smile and we know what we're talking about. But because we had to descend, devolve, okay, then we happen to develop what's called the third eye. There was a time when man had three eyes. But the more we descended or we devolved, so to speak, the one eye became three, the three eye became two, and that's what creates the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So yes, duality will exist in this world. It cannot escape that. It has to exist. That's why light and dark had to create. The dark is created matter, and the light is what gives it life.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? But however, light and dark goes into what's called, absoluteness. You know what I'm saying? They don't meet. But the first, what we call immaculate conception, was the light and the dark coming together to give birth to the first son.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first Trinity.
Damn.
Okay, so the one, which is, it is two in one, but it's one, the light and the dark, okay, parallel to each other, came together, created the son, the first universal son, and from that son, he had 7 more sons with his mother. So incest, there was spiritual incest. Those things been happening for eons.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why all these crowns, in whether it was in Europe, in Africa, wherever in the Americas, they were marrying their daughters and their cousins, because that was just part of what it is. Now today, people may look at it as something bad, but it wasn't something bad in ancient times.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Ancient times, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. And so timelines are important for us.
Well, timelines will change because once again, our lower self, it had to make sense of the story. You see what I'm saying? They had to give themselves a beginning, because the truth of the matter is, that's why, you went from, win to 2023, but yet still we talking about 6,000 years ago. So shouldn't we be in like 6,000 something?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, timelines have to change in order to fit the storyline. You see what I'm saying? So all that stuff was done for the purpose of, once again, giving a chronology for the lower self, which is where these people are at right now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just our lower self manifesting. But as people are raising their vibrations, again, you will see more attacks on them, because people don't understand exactly what's happening.
All right. As long as Tass ain't saying nothing, I will. I got a question about this.
Mm.
We think we know that, like Christopher Columbus came here with a Bible in one hand, a gun in another, and pretty much forced their religion on us or colonized us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Salima Ellis has been leading us to something else about this meeting between the colonizers and whomever is on the lands, our people.
Mm.
The real storyline was to run these penal colonies, or these industrialized slave cities, open air penal colonies.
Mm.
And of course, religion played a good role, because it allowed them to control us through this sky daddy, or teachings of a sky daddy and heaven and hell and all. But if the real deal is to colonize all the lands and turn them into penal colonies,
Mm.
then doesn't that have to be dismantled, or is it just gonna shut down like everything else in nature for us to start a new um, paradigm shift or new
Mm-hmm.
matrix or a new theme,
Mm-hmm.
new terraforming the planet, new
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that shit doesn't shit have to shut down
Mm-hmm.
before new stuff can begin?
Well, that's a great question. What we have to, again, we have to realize is there must be chaos in order for there to be order. Okay. So when the Bible, or the concept, so to speak, of the Bible was introduced into the Americas, and whether it was the indigenous tribes of Africa, the indigenous people of Asia, okay, it was forced on them because that wasn't their culture. Okay, it wasn't just about setting up colonies for commerce. If you realize, if you know the true history of these Europeans, and when I say Europeans, most times when I speak of Europeans, people think of the so-called pale man. No, the original Europeans that came into the Americas, they were people of color. So their main goal was literally to bring their God, okay, to bring their God into those indigenous tribes, whether it's in Africa, Asia, or the Americas. Now, coming with that, if you look at the nature of their nature of their God is to kill, steal, and destroy. That is the nature of their God. And that's what the whole Bible is all about. But people don't get it because they're not being taught that. So, to answer your question, how it's going to happen, yes, there's going to be war. Because once again, the lower self is just too stubborn, and there is going to be war. It's inevitable. It's going to happen because the so-called people that's ruling right now, they will not just relinquish the power. Okay, they will bring famine, they will bring diseases, pestilence, and they'll tell you, well, oh well, you know what? It's prophecy of the Bible. No, they put it in there, so it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So typical example. I don't want the feet to get shut down, but so I'll try to see if I could kind of paraphrase what I'm saying. Corona, corona really means crown. Okay, so the whole corona thing, so to speak, it deals with the coronation of the people when the sun was given certain information. That's what the corona was really about. Okay, it was a golden age that we are stepping into, but they had to do certain things to prevent people from getting their coronation. I wanted my corona. You see what I'm saying? But they flipped it. Okay, so people would think that it's something else so that they could fight against it. But go look it up. Go look at the true etymology of corona. Is the crown. So that's because it's a certain awakening, and people have to be they have to be given back their crown. And that's what this whole thing was about. But of course, they have to give you something to kind of like fight that. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is stranger than fiction. So yes, there's going to be farming. There's going to be diseases. You know, everyone is going to be a little worse than the next, and they're always going to tell you they have a solution for it. But all that stuff is man-made. It's all man-made.
Yeah, man-made according to their plan.
Yeah, because they don't want people to ascend. The moment because if you ascend, that means that the lower self will no longer exist. The lower self will no longer have power. So the
Right.
lower self got to try to stay in control, but they don't have a choice but lose. Why? Because once again, nobody have control over you but yourself. So if you allow the lower self to manifest, then their power will reign. That's why each individual have to work on himself and herself to step into their higher selves, and that's how we win this battle ultimately.
Hmm. Wow.
Um,
That's
man,
that's what's up for real.
was muted.
Yeah.
That was
So
powerful, brother. That was definitely powerful.
yeah, thank you, man. So
Yeah,
This,
you got a special kind of teaching, Kalinago.
yeah.
The
Well,
way you break
it
things
comes with
down.
a special understanding. You know what I mean? You have to, if you know, there's a difference between belief and knowing. You know what I mean? So
Right.
once you know, you're able to articulate it, you know what I mean? And then everything is just so clear in your mind because you tap into there's truth, and truth doesn't have any filters. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as some of the truth or a little bit. It's just truth. You know, it's just truth. And we don't realize that literally we are just our higher selves having an experience from one extreme to the next, back to that extreme. And in fact, you know what? Dick Gregory gave a perfect analogy. And I'm going to see if I could kind of, paraphrase that. He said that the journey of life is water coming from its pure form, okay? And it falls down to earth. And while it's falling, it is being contaminated to all different levels. But once it hit the ground, it goes back into the ocean and then it evaporates again. But in the process of evaporation, it has to purify itself before it could go back to the actual source. So that's what our journey is about, coming from a pure state to imperfection and then back to perfection. But in between, there's a journey. And that's what's called the experience of life. And that's why when you so-called die, on your gravestone, they have your name, but in between your name, they have a date, they have a line, and then they have another date. The only thing that matters is what happens between those two lines. That determines what's going to happen at the end of that journey. It depends. Literally, the experience is what you're taking with you. And that's it. Yeah.
Definitely, brother. We thank you so much for that. Did you have something else to ask him, sis?
I'm storing up some more for later on. I'll give you a break, Taz. I'll let you in.
No, you good. You good. Definitely. We definitely appreciate it. It was
okay. Were you gonna try to end it?
We did just make it make the 2 hour mark.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let me give him another stab then.
Yeah.
Kalinago, you know how we appreciate you, and because your teaching is so different than everybody else's, I still wanted you to just, assure us that we're gonna get this thing together. We're gonna get past this because right now times are scary, and they're not as scary as they're going to be because we're all just sitting like something big is getting ready to happen, but we don't know what it is. We keep hearing about the dollar is finna crash, and and then their time is up, so they're gonna pull some bullshit, and we're gonna have to fight them. It's like we're stressed.
Well, I could give a little bit of
for no reason.
Well, I could give a little bit of consolation here.
Okay.
What we have to keep in mind is this: is when we speak about us versus them, people have to be very careful. Them is not so-called white people, and that's the problem. Because again, when you don't know the truth, then you constantly repeat the same mistake. You see, man is not learning the lesson that he needs to learn. You feel me? It has nothing to do with when we say them. Most people equate them with so-called white. No, because if you fight against white people, you're fighting against yourself. It's your lower self. You feel me? So it has nothing to do with that. The battle has to be internal. That's how you win the battle. So there's no need to stress. Stop thinking of yourself as the flesh. Because once you start thinking of yourself as the flesh, you start seeing yourself as the flesh, because the eyes is what creates the illusion. Once you start seeing yourself as the flesh, then it injects fear, because fear is physical. But when you know this is not you, it's going to shed, and death does not exist. The only thing that exists is life. Once you know this and you convince yourself of that because it's true, then the chaos, the dollar crashing, I don't give a damn. Let it crash. Because guess what? They will come up with something else. The bottom line is this: always stay prepared. And how do you do that? You stay prepared by being your best self that you can be. That is the best advice I could give anybody because anything outside of that is going to put you in fear mode. It's going to stress you out because you start thinking this might happen. I might die. My children, listen, all that stuff is an illusion. Everybody came here to have an individual experience. That's why we are called individuals. We are divided from the all, but yet still in Indi, they still all. So therefore, the all still resides in us. So therefore, the all cannot die. The all doesn't have a beginning or an end. So why am I afraid? As a matter of fact, I'm ready for all of this. I'm excited. Let it crash. Let the war come. I'm ready because we are imprisoned in this body. I want to be free. Let me out of jail, man. That's why we have cells. When you go to jail, what do they put your body in? They put your body in a cell. So the cell in your body, it's just a jail, man. It's a jail. So free yourself. Stop stressing yourself out.
Boom.
Okay? Because guess what? It's just a journey that the physical body is going to experience. That's all it is. Somebody cut your arm, it's not real. It's not real. It's like my car. If my car is parked outside and somebody run into the car, they ain't running to me. But yes, still the car need my body to move. It's the same thing. That essence that's within you, the body needed to move. So if somebody took the body right now, guess what? You're good. You Gucci. The only fear you should have is if you've been living a fucked up life. Then that means you get to come back and do it all over again. But if you're a good man or woman, man, you're good. Amongst the ancestors, you're good. So I have no fear because I know I'm good. My seat is already waiting. You feel me? So let's not worry about that. All that stuff is an illusion, man. It's not real. It only appears real to the conscious mind. When you go to sleep and you're sleeping, do you worry about the bills? No. Because your mind takes you into another realm.
Yes.
And that's the simplest consolation I could give everybody. All right. Fear is created. Okay, because your physical body is creating the fear. I'm not saying you can't get little butterflies. No, it's okay. That's natural. But when it's all said and done, just know that I'm not the flesh and I'm forever eternal.
That's right.
You know? That's it. And because you're eternal, those things will not affect you. It will not bother you. Let me tell you something, man. I have stopped the rain. There are times when I step out and the sun is not out, and I command the sun to come out, and as soon as I speak, the sun is out. My knee was out for like for a couple of years ago. I stopped working out, and my knee went out. For whatever reason, I could barely walk, and I just spoke to my knee, and in less than 2 weeks, I was jogging. I'm sprinting, and it's been 5 years, and I'm sprinting like a horse right now. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, know the power that you have. Know thyself. Know that it's all about you. There is nothing outside of you. You are literally an essence from the all. Once again, hence the word individual divided from the all. That's it. And you no longer want to be divine. Too many people are, oh, well, I'm divine. Well, let me ask you a question. If you have a grape tree or a grapevine, when you take the grape out of the tree or the vine, what are you doing? You're dividing the grape. That means you're disconnecting from the source. So why do you want to be divine? You want to be vine. So you see, people are killing themselves with the words that they speak, and they don't realize what's happening. You want to be less. Why you want to be less? You want to be lack. Why you want to be lack? Why you want to lack the essence of what God is?
Damn.
When the truth of the matter is the number 13 is God. Now, if you take the 1 and the 3 and you put it together, what do you get? You get a B. So when you say be lack, you say you're less than God. So, but people will look at you like you're the crazy one, and I'm like, you know what, man? Listen, let the dead bury the dead, man. And then you want to get up. Good morning. What's so good about morning? Who died? You see what I'm saying? It's just so many things that people are not realizing that what's happening to them is because it's coming from their own tongue. You feel me? And then you get up and then you go to work all week. So now you're weak. And then 2 days come, the weakness end, and on Monday you go back to mourning because mourning means somebody died. I mean, come on, man.
Damn. You sure right about that.
I'm just saying, that's why the universe was made in numbers. You had 7, not even 7 days, because when you're in a daze, that means you are in a coma.
Damn.
You lost it. You
Mhm.
know. So I'm just saying.
Wow. That's more like if I went to church and my preacher was preaching like this, then yeah, he's afforded his tithings, and
Yeah, yeah. The truth is out there, sis. The truth is there. But
it is.
yeah, it's here. And once again, like I said, man, you are the one that's truly in charge of your own reality. There is no sky daddy judging anybody. You feel me? That is an illusion. There is no man with a red pitchfork looking for souls. You know what I mean? With a long tail. That doesn't exist. That is something that was created, an illusion. The only judge there is karma. And that is something that we put in place. Can you imagine such a beautiful and a fair system that everything that happens to you when you so-called leave this body is based on your actions while you were in this body?
Mm.
That is
Yeah.
the only judge. It's called karma, meaning that whatever you sow, that's what you will reap.
That's right.
Nobody judging you but yourself. That's why it says nobody could judge me but who?
Me.
God. And who's God? Me.
Me.
Exactly. So you are the one judging yourself, nobody else.
The
But they
whole
give you
time.
the illusion of somebody else judging you so that you're able to live in fear if you don't do this. And ask yourself this question. If God is good all the time, and all the time God is good, why would God want to send me to hell just because I don't do something he said to burn forever, but yet still you're always good? That's a contradiction.
Right.
That's why the allegorical Jesus came not to fulfill, but to condemn.
Mm.
Jesus was condemning the God of the Old Testament. Again, it's all allegorical. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's all allegory. So you cannot tell me the man is good all the time. And here's another thing, people do, not just Christians. So I'm not going to pick on Christians, but people in general. When something bad happens, they blame it on the devil. But when something bad happens and they cannot blame it on the devil, what do they say? It's God's will.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. How is it God's will that you broke your leg?
Right.
But yet still your God is good all the time, right?
Yep.
Come on, man. Because people don't think.
Yeah. And if they do think, they don't critically think.
There you go. So I'm saying because they are afraid of who they truly are. Here's another question I always ask people. If a dog had a dog 2 million years ago, what would be the dog called today in 2023?
Huh.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, Jesus.
No. If
I'm
a
just
dog
kidding.
had
I'm
dogs,
just kidding because
no. If a dog had dogs 2 million years ago, what would they be called in 2023?
the same thing.
Okay, if horses, I want you to say, if horses had horses 2 million years ago, what
They
would they be
still be
called in
calling them
2023?
horses.
There would be a horse, right?
Yeah.
How is that when you ask religious people, if God made you, why are you afraid to call yourself a God? They rather call themselves a child of God. Do you say a child of the dog?
Yeah.
There
That's
you
what,
go.
I had that problem. If I tell a Christian that you're God and they want to cuss me out,
Exactly.
like I cussed them out or something. No, I just paid you the highest honor.
Right.
And you gonna call me crazy, want to cuss me out, and not be associated with me anymore.
Yeah.
They really think you're crazy
Yeah.
if you think you're God.
Yeah. Because it is the indoctrination. And it's fine. That's why I don't attack
The
people.
indoctrination says that ye are gods.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yep. So, and it's okay, sis. And I'll tell you why. Because everybody have a time stamp for them to actually what's called waking up. I could use the term wake because they are dead. Okay. That's why I tell people I don't wake in the morning because I'm not dead. I rise like the sun. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, there's a time where people will wake up and some of them will not wake up in this time period. That's why there's something called reincarnation. They have to come back and do it all over again. You feel me? So if the Bible tells you, your own book tells you that the kingdom of heaven is within, While you on your
Right.
knees looking up, I'm surprised, pigeons don't do it on their head because you're looking up. What the only thing that's up there is the plane and the sky and the moon. All that stuff is within you, you know. And the story of the cosmos is in you. The first cosmos, the first Bible was the cosmos. So therefore, you are the living Bible. You are the living Testament. It's within you, man. Okay. And then here's another thing that the allegorical Bible says. It says, well, go back to being a child. Why is that? When you look at a child, can you tell me what God does that child serve? You can't,
Right.
because children are in their pure essence. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we are supposed to get back to, our pure essence, when we're not giving names or gender, because it just doesn't exist. Well, he did that for me. Well, yeah, who's he? What happened to the she?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So again, man, people just got to learn, and eventually they will, because it took some time for them to be dumbed down, and then that information had to be given to them. So there will come a time where the more people get the information, they'll wake up and they'll pass the information and stuff like that. So we'll be okay. We just got to
Yeah.
let go of the fear and enjoy life, and
I
that's what
do
it's
believe
about.
that. I
Live
do.
life.
Thank you so much
No,
for
thank you.
answering my questions. I know I feel a hell of a lot better than
Yeah,
I did before you came on the show. I see Taz pop back in, and that means
yeah.
that we have ended this session. And
Thank
it
you.
went so fast, we got to have you back, right, Chief?
Oh, no problem, man. No problem,
Oh,
man. Just
okay. I'm glad to hear
let's
that.
go set it up.
'Cause, yeah, I'm going to have my list out next time.
Yes, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We appreciate you, brother, for being here today. It was a hell of a build. We appreciate the knowledge, the wisdom, and all the gems that you dropped. With that said, can you tell the people one last time, brother, where
Mm.
where where can we find you at? Where can people find your information? Where are you usually most active in? Is it
Mm,
YouTube? Is it an
mm.
Instagram? Where can we find you your information more actively?
Mm.
And lastly, any last words that you might wanna
Yeah. Well, yeah. So first, with the information, pretty much, I kind of took a break from, doing lives. I did this live because again, Sister Yaz, I mean, like we go way back, and I have a lot of respect for her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know, that it was you, Brother Taz, but when she did tell me about you, so I think the face does look familiar. So again, like I said, it was an honor to be in your presence today. But with that being said, I'm on Facebook once in a while. I will pop up and tell the folks hi and post things periodically. So the Facebook is just Kalinago Flying Eagle, and my YouTube channel is um, Original American Sun, and Sun is SUN, Original American Sun. So that's my YouTube channel. I mean, I have videos going way back, for a very long time. And I just want to say in conclusion, you know, regardless of what happens, just know that everything is always going to be okay. What we have to realize is that there is more good in the world than there is bad. Okay. But the whole concept of bad is something that we ourselves that we put out there. And the more people step into their higher self, into their higher chakras, you see what I'm saying? Then we'll see less evil in the world. So stop focusing on changing the world, but focus on changing yourself. You feel me? So once you start changing yourself, everything else will change. And your goal is not to change the world, but have an impact on the world. Because we can't change the world. It is what it is. The world is already spoken for. You know what I mean? But it's your journey. It's not the journey of the world. It's your journey. Okay. So only you could make this happen. And I can't wait to see a world where we don't have to work and pay rent and all these things, because animals don't pay rent, animals don't work while we pay rent. You see what I'm saying? So I can't see the time when all we do is just chill and enjoy life and go on the land and pick fruits and eat and just enjoy life. You know what I mean? And all of that is possible, but we have to make it happen. So stay strong, stay focused, keep loving, because always remember, whatever you put out there in the universe, that's what's going to come back regardless of how you look at it. It's literally what you put out you will receive. So be good, love, and it will all come back to you. And with that being said, I send a lot of love and positive energy to each and every one of you. And may the ancestors and the incorruptible gods and lords, be with you and guide you and show you the way.
Peace.
Thank you so much for that. Those words of wisdom, brother. We appreciate you, and we thank you so much for the journey today. And again, for granting us the opportunity to have you in our presence. It's always an honor, and
Definitely.
like the sis said, hopefully we get to have you in the future as once more if the time allows. So with that said, this will be the ending of this sequence. Remember this, we're going to try to make this a series. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Make sure you drop a like, let us know what you think, give us a comment. And all together, check out all our information. Make sure that you check Sis on the Yassini under YassiniUniversity.com, and you can find me there as well. Sis, you have any closing words before I close it out?
Just peace to you two brothers, you two guys.
I appreciate you too, goddess. Thank you.
We'll be leaving you guys the same way we came to you guys.
Right.
All right. Peace.
Yes.
All right.
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, but go on with it.
Yo, is it? Are you kidding me?
To us, yeah. So we are coming in with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings, the tax for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends that take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored then only set the road and me go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing, and you know it formed up to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with chronic I sing, yeah, see me all diggy soon, get the higher ring like hello, brother. Me say I had to shot ya, saw your poster, spectacular photo. Keep it burning, yes, that's the motto. If me the butter pass through your shot to